Regardless of how good of a matchup is, sometimes you come up against some really good draws from your opponent, some really big brain plays. And this is a very good example of Mill versus the Hammer matchup, where sometimes your opponent can pull some really magical stuff out of their hat, and all of a sudden you're losing to a Cauldron Complete. Enjoy the game. Starting things off on the play, I'm feeling pretty good. We got a Watery Grave out. I want the Ruined Crab out because I want to cycle my Fractured Sanity. I'm going into the blind, fetch into a Sigarda's Aid, and we know what's up. We archive trap them. We don't have to deal with the Shuffle Titan here. I'm feeling pretty good. We're getting aggressive. They get 2/0 mana creatures out. I mill a little bit, but I'm still looking for a land, right? Hoping not to use the Fatal Push. I see the Springleaf Drum come down. They play their Stoneforge Mystic, and well, here it is. They're looking for their Colossus Hammer, so no damage this turn. I'm able to safely cycle my Fractured Sanity at end step. Looking for a land, I unfortunately don't find it, but the RNG gods are with me. I find my snow-covered island, and what I decided to do is go for the Field of Ruin on the Ink Moth on my turn, try and bait the Colossus Hammer out. Maybe I can remove something here. I'm worried about losing to a Spell Pierce on their turn, so at least here, when they deal this damage to me, I'm losing to damage and not infect damage. So here, I go for the Fatal Push, but the fatal mistake is I didn't account for the Cauldron Complete to come down and provide some indestructibility. Now, this is a combat trick I ever saw one, and you know what? Not much I'm doing about it. Well played, opponent. You got a 15-17. I'm at 3 life, and really, my only hope would have been a Mainboard Ensnaring Bridge, and I mean, I cycled through for the plays and see if I have anything, but I got to give it to my opponent. They played that really well. Going into this next game, I brought in some Soul Guide Lanterns and some Engineered Explosives, but I didn't find the EEs at all. So I just start off with the Crab, and the Fatal Push is in hand. No black mana, which is a little sticky considering they played the Sigarda's Aid. I got the Soul Guide, I'm milling them, I'm fine. If they fetch, I can deal with the Shuffle Titan. They play an Urza Saga, no creatures, so this is spelling pretty good. If I can just find my third land, I should be good. So I return the Oboro to my hand, I play out the Hedron Crab, and at least I get some value out of this bounce land. So it's some, have my Soul Guide out, I can, you know, exile the graveyard if I need to, and see what they play on end step. Now they play a Containment Priest, and the big thing I want to note here is it exiles non-token creatures, so this doesn't affect their Urza Saga tokens or their Cauldron Complete, so don't worry about that, folks. This isn't a misplay, but they did bring in all 15 cards of their side. They make their third land drop. I find a second archive trap. I'm like, well, you know, when they search the Urza Saga, I'm fine, so I'm just going to spin my wheels with the Oboro and keep milling them, but the lack of black mana and the lack of third land is hurting me here. So they play their Construct token. They got their Sigarda's Aid up. I'm not feeling pretty good about this. Now, they're not going to make another Constructs token, which, you know, makes me a little afraid here because they got mana to do things. They got a 12/12 out, they get a Stoneforge Mystic out, and well, I'm just going to archive trap them, just try and prevent potential targets. Unfortunately though, the Stoneforge Mystic does find a Shadow Spear, so that's really going to spell defeat for me here. That comes down, gets onto the Construct token, and really all I have here is potentially just finding a third land and Tasha's Hideous Laughter. So instead of blocking, I keep my 2 crabs up, go for the draw, find a Soul Guide Lantern, and alas, that is the loss. Sometimes you lose to your own lands.